Hello and hi. My name is Mark, and I am an artist, animator, and yeah. Uh, so, sorry, this is a little weird for me, but I'm not really used to recording my own voice. But I figure I would try to make a little bit more use of this channel, and well, I thought maybe one way to do that would be to sort of do some commentary over artwork. Very original, I know. But I've had this idea for a little while now. As an artist and somebody who is very sentimental, I keep all of my sketchbooks and drawings, at least as much as I can. And, well, I thought it would be really cool to sort of look back at my oldest sketchbook that I have and see if I can redraw some of the original characters that I've done. And as you can see here, I decided to draw or do a little bit of a series about redrawing all my old original Mega Man characters. And I guess the reason that I'm doing that is sort of because, it's just a way for me to kind of, look back and see how I've changed over the years. But, like, this is an idea that I've had swimming in my mind for a little while now. And, I thought, it'd be cool to, like, sort of reinterpret these designs and sort of modernize them and I'm using all these fancy words. I'm just redrawing them 15 or so years later. That's really all there is. But I mainly do animation and visual concept stuff. But as you might see, I am very slow at producing stuff. And I'm currently working on an original animated short. It has been taking some time. I'm very on and off with it. But I thought in the meantime, it would be really cool to do this little side project and maybe fill up that time just for fun. But essentially, yeah, the idea is that I have 30 original Mega Man Robot Master designs that I drew when I was in high school, middle school, or around then. And yeah, I had 30 of them, and I was just, it's just one of those series that's really easy to make original characters for. I was always like drawing like fan art and stuff, but it was really easy to make like original characters for Mega Man because it's just like you slap an attribute and then the word man next to it. And it's like, oh, you got your brand new Mega Man character. So, yeah. So this is essentially what I'm going to try to do. So you might be noticing here too that I'm starting off on this drawing with the line work already done. It's already sketched out. It's already lined out and all that, and I've already skipped to the coloring. And the reason for that is because I started this. I was originally just gonna maybe like post this stuff on Instagram and stuff, but I thought it'd be cool to just show my process a little more and maybe just make a YouTube video out of it. I don't know. But pretty much what I'm going to be doing is I'm going in order of the order of which I drew these characters in. So this guy is named Gear Man, and So Gear Man. I don't know if I'm gonna be probably gonna be posting up a picture of like the original drawing alongside with this in the video. I'm not really sure how I'm gonna be doing that yet, but if that is the case, you can probably see the huge drastic differences in how these characters look. And but pretty much, like when I was drawing this stuff as a kid, like yeah, I wasn't really like going for like trying to match style and stuff. I was just going crazy. So what I'm trying to do here now is basically just reinterpret these designs in the style of like a proper Mega Man look. So that's pretty much what I'm doing. So this guy's Gear Man, and the other thing too is I'm trying to like sort of capture the original idea of these characters from how I drew them, or at least like trying to remember how I drew them, because it's been a while. I don't really fully remember what was going through my mind in terms of how I wanted to present these guys back when I was a kid, but I don't think that really mattered when doodling as a kid anyway. So but I think pretty much I imagine this guy as like he's like a really old model. Like he's probably one of the first or like original models of his kind, and I sort of imagine him in like an old factory. Maybe he like manufactures like other robot masters, like after being designed, like or other robots and stuff, like a robot production factory. And I really wanted to emphasize his gears, as you can see. So I just slapped them on his arms and his legs, which is carried over from the original drawing. And also I put one on his head. And the idea for that, pretty much, I thought it would be cool to imagine him as basically like he's so old, like he's made up. I try to give him like this sort of bronzy, almost copper look, and eventually at some point in the video you're gonna start to see like me adding like the detail once I'm done with the shading and all that. But pretty much, I imagined him as like a really, really old and worn out guy, an old and worn out machine. And I don't know. I mean, I didn't really think of like in context why he would be turning evil in a game or whatever. But essentially that was just what I thought his original purpose was he's like an old robot production manager in a sense. And basically like his whole thing with the gears is like he's so old that and just made to be so practical that he is essentially limited to movement only on these like rails that his gears connect to. So essentially he like skates around, but is only confined to rails. Like his movement's very limited, but because of that, he can move very fast on these rails, I guess. So I don't know. I imagine like a fight with him would be like avoiding him on these rails, and like maybe the weapon you get would be like his gears or something. You could like skate around and attack with them. I don't know. But basically I was trying to, I mean, the original design was like this very like wacky gearbox kind of like Tin Man kind of idea. And while I definitely wanted to go closer to what he might look like as an actual Mega Man character, I still wanted to like keep that sort of Tin Man look, and I kind of like adapted that into a more like steampunk aesthetic, which I thought would fit pretty well. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of the idea for this guy, essentially. And yeah, so he is just an old, dilapidated machine and all that. And that's kind of like his shtick. Like he's powered by like I don't know, like a smoke engine. I gave him a little chimney or a little exhaust pipe out of his back. I almost put two of them, but I thought like maybe just the one would be fine. This kind of like what's the word I'm looking for? Like this kind of just slapped together chimney. His exhaust just comes out of this pipe or whatever, and you know he has like the meters or whatever. Like I don't know, like he probably overheats or something. That's what I imagine. So now you can see I'm starting to get a little bit more into detail. I'm trying my best to replicate the Mega Man art style, which has changed over the years. Like, I mean, obviously, like it's such an old series, and it's gone through like several different art styles, especially with the different like series and stuff. But even like with the regular classic series, it's gone through some pretty crazy like art style differences. So I was mainly looking at like 7 and 8, and mostly 8, and like kind of trying to match their aesthetic. I really like the big limbs that they have in those games, like just everything's so exaggerated, and I really like that. It's really fun to draw that kind of stuff. So that was pretty much my design inspiration, and yeah, so here like I'm doing the shading now. It's all done coloring, and although I'm trying to add like dents and scratches, and you know, really trying to emphasize that like old, worn, beat up, like this guy is like constantly like in motion. Like he's old and he's dilapidated, but you know he's still kicking. They don't make him like they used to, I guess. But that was pretty much like my and you know, like trying to add my own little bit of art style into it, which I mean that's obviously going to happen naturally, you know, as with any artist doing. But yeah, for this one, obviously I started this. I actually sketched him out, inked him like a year or so ago, and then I just didn't touch him at all, because like I don't do fan art as much anymore. So like I kind of just like I'll like do like little doodles and then I'll just kind of drop them. I'm definitely more interested in original works, but you know I thought this could be fun to do, and I'm happy I actually went through with finishing this guy, and if I do continue this, the next ones will definitely show the full process of the drawing, like the sketch, the line work, all that. So this will just be the one outlier because I just didn't think that far ahead with making this guy. So overall, I mean, I think I like how this guy came out. I kind of like how, or I guess how he's coming out. I haven't reached the part of the video yet where he's done. But I kind of like how I ended up making this like sort of weird mesh of like old steampunk with like 90s attitude rollerblading kind of aesthetic, which I feel like fits. I feel like it kind of fits pretty well within this world and universe, especially in this era of games, of Mega Man games, where it's a lot more lighthearted and wacky, and they got a clown man who's a clown, and that's it, and then you have to fight him. And there's a sheep man. There's just so many like dumb robot masters in the series, and like at a certain point you can tell like they were really struggling for ideas. But I kind of like that in a way. Like it almost feels genuine. Um, so I think the dumb wackiness almost kind of lends hand in hand. Um, with with that, I think it's appropriate. So that's kind of like the vibe that I'm trying to go for with this, like a little more lighthearted and fun, colorful. Although this guy's a little more, like a little, I gave him, a little more uh, rustic tones. A lot of browns and dark yellows and reds and or a lot of earthy type stuff. But that's, like with the character. With other characters, they're gonna end up being probably a lot more colorful, in that sense. So, and there there are some weird robots that I came up with. I'm flipping through my book right now, and some of them I'm wondering like how the hell am I going to be able to um, update these and redraw them. Like I'm looking at one in particular, but that's a little further down the line now. So yeah, but that's pretty much it for that. I just thought I wanted to do something fun. I wanted to show my love for this series, and all that. It's something Mega Man has inspired me in a lot of ways as an artist, and I'm just a big sci-fi fan in general. So I mean, obviously, I feel like that kind of goes hand in hand with me liking Mega Man. But I thought it would be something cool and sort of revisit my art. I always see people online on social media kind of doing their same thing. They do like redraws, so I thought it'd be fun to do the same thing. Even though I'm really not like somebody who likes to revisit past artworks all too much. In fact, it's something I've rarely ever done. I've updated like concepts and animations. Well, not animations, but I've updated like concepts and concept art, and stuff like that. Like I've revisited ideas, but in terms of like stuff like fan art and like redrawing an old piece of art, I tend to try to just stay away from that, just because I don't mind revisiting those characters in a sense, but like I think I would rather sort of take the ideas and what I was thinking for them at the time and apply them to newer things. But that's just me. I am also a bit of a hypocrite because I literally also just said that I do revisit my old concepts from time to time and update art. But in terms of like finished art pieces, I don't try to redraw them. I tend to just leave them as is. And that goes the same with this. So yeah. And here, I'm playing with shading and all that stuff. Going for something a little cooler. Another thing too that I really want to try with this series is to really try to make all these characters look uniform and look like they could belong in the same game and look like they could belong in any kind of, in a game. Particularly, I think that's kind of the goal. Like I want to make these look like as much like key art as possible, which is a little bit of a daunting task, especially because I'm not a professional technically in this regard. But I'm gonna do my best to do that and try to fool people into thinking that these could be actual Mega Man characters. And I think it would just be good practice for me too, because that's generally the direction I'm trying to head in with my own art. and just trying to make things look as clean and professional as possible, which I still have a long ways to go with that. Even though I've been drawing as almost as long as I can remember, there's always room for improvement. And I think that this could be a really nice exercise, and I think it's also going to be a really nice break from the animation grind that I do, because they're very different work processes. And it's good to have, I think it's good as an artist to have variety in what you're doing, and to kind of switch things up, because if you're looking at the same project for hours upon hours upon hours, and especially something like animation, which takes so much time, even longer if you're someone like me, who really takes his time, it can just be, you can start to like kind of like, things start to look like kind of hazy. So I think doing stuff like this, at least for me, is good and kind of refreshes the palette a little bit. So, and it kind of rejuvenates my excitement to draw. And overall, it's as much as I do take my time, even with this stuff, it's not like a taxing process. Like drawing these characters take like a few hours essentially overall. So I really don't mind it that much. And at this point, with this recording, I've done a couple characters so far, and I will say there is definitely a bit of a change in art style, a slight change compared to this guy, but I think they still look kind of uniform for the most part. And there's one thing you should know about me. It's that and this is both a weakness and a strength of mine, I am just obsessed with detail in my designs. So like you can see like right now, if this audio is synced up with the video, that I'm just doing all of these scratches on his armor and all of these dense scratches, imperfections, and I just love that. I adore doing little stuff like that, which is cool, I think, in a lot of ways, because it really shows, I think especially for this design, like it gives him a lot more character than if I just like blocked in shading regularly. I think it adds a lot of good texture. But on the downside with that, if you're too detail obsessed like I can be sometimes, it can really slow the process down and sometimes clutter the design in ways that were unintentional and distract from the parts that you really want people to pay attention to. So I think throughout my process here I do go a little overboard, but I think I start to dial it back a little bit at certain points, which is good. If there's one thing that I think is really important as an artist, it's to, obviously everybody's got their strengths and weaknesses, but it's good to at the very least acknowledge your weaknesses and just be aware of them, even if you're not fully able to overcome them when you're drawing. At the very least, if you just like can stop yourself and be like, okay, I'm doing this again, let's just pull back for a second and just kind of reevaluate what you're doing. I think that can be really important for growth and stuff. But I mean, also I could just be talking out my ass, I don't know. When it comes down to it, I draw because it's fun and I like it, and I like creating dumb characters to put into worlds that could be fun and interesting and introspective in a lot of ways. And that's pretty much the simple, most regular answer for that I could give. Art is very special to me, and it's something I always want to strive to do better and be better at. So yeah, with that mopey talk out of the way, I think we're getting closer to the end here. I do spend a lot of time with the detail on this, but eventually I'm going to get to a point where I start to add in the final effects and stuff like that, like overlays and all that crap. So I haven't really figured out timing with my voice and recording over this. I just kind of sped up the footage that I recorded of me drawing this, so I'm not exactly sure. I haven't exactly like found my footing with that yet. Making videos like this is very new to me, so just please bear with me if you would, or don't. Totally up to you. But I think right now, I'm starting to get to. I'm adding like some blemishes, some dirt, some other texture on there onto him. But I think at this point, I'm gonna wrap things up and just let the rest of the video play out. Eventually, you're gonna see him against this sort of backdrop that I made as that I'm gonna be putting all the finished characters in as well. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much what this is in a nutshell. Thank you for listening to my ramblings for however long this is. Apologies for the long pauses and ums and bleh. I'm sure the more I do these, the more comfortable I will get with speaking into a camera and in a quiet room with my own and hearing my own voice all the time, which is something that is like my worst nightmare, but I'm sure I'll get over it. But yeah, I hope you enjoy. I hope whatever you guys use this for to put on in the background or whatever, doesn't matter to me. Just kind of was a dumb, fun thing I figured I'd try out. But yeah, if you enjoyed it, thank you for enjoying and for watching and listening. If you think I could have done a better job, let me know. If there's any thing that any opinions that you might have of this, or like any advice, blah blah blah. I am no better an artist than anyone else. I am open to criticism and hearing any and all opinions, no matter how harsh. Which is it's all valued to me, for sure. Any kind of feedback, but most importantly, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I hope this is something that is exciting to like the one person, especially because Mega Man has become like a little bit more of a niche kind of series over the years, but it's just something that it's a franchise I adore, and I just want to show my appreciation for it. I will end this off before I let the rest of the video play out. I will end this off by saying I think that if I do continue this series, it'll probably just be a one and done kind of thing, just because, as I've said before, I'm not crazy big into doing a whole lot of fan art. I'm definitely, at least not as much as I used to be. Every once in a while is fine, but I don't know if I want that to be the main focus of this channel. I think I want to have this be more centered around original content and concepts and animations and all that jazz. But I think for now, this is fine. So, yeah, with that being said, have a good day, night, morning, whatever, and I'll see you in the next one.